Hello and happy noon, everybody. Welcome to Plugged Into History. This is Let's Talk Tuesday, and we are here with Kim Pruitt. She is the manager of the nursery in the Garden Market, and she is one of the experts here on property of all things plant life, and we're so excited to be here in the nursery. So if you've never been in the plant sale nursery before as part of the Garden Market, you're in for a real treat. We have this whole scenery set up here with Kim, and this is just part of the gorgeous plants that she has for sale that she's cultivating for us. Also, we should note before we even get started that there's a plant sale on right now, right?
Yes.
It's buy one, get one free on certain plants, and we're not going to go through all those right this second because that's not the point of this program. But if you're planting now, in your yards, if you're planting for the summer, then definitely come and see Kim because she's got lots of great stuff to sell you. But today, for Let's Talk Tuesday, Kim has a really important historical piece of content that she's going to share with us. And so I'm going to shut the heck up now. Thanks so much for joining us for Plugged Into History. And we're going to learn some really important stuff about plants and their usage historically, medicinal and herbal and all that. So Kim, take it away.
Hello everyone. Thank you for watching today. As Karen said, my name is Kimberly Pruitt and I am the nursery manager here at the Middleton Place Garden Market. Today we're going to be talking about 6 specific herbal plants and vegetables that were used by the enslaved and the impact that they have on current holistic treatments and diet. The enslaved were very creative in their use of plants for treating a variety of illnesses and ailments. They adapted and modified old world techniques, drawing upon their knowledge and cultural heritage, and incorporated the identification skills and usage of plants and trees by Native American Indians in the New World.
So what you're saying, Kim, is that enslaved Africans who came here from Africa, they already had medicinal plant knowledge?
They did from their country, and what they did was they took the knowledge in some cases from the Native Americans and expounded upon it, and in some ways improved it for their use.
Interesting. So what you're saying is that they're learning from another culture to sort of mesh their own understanding with plants that they may not have been familiar with here in their new home.
That is correct.
That's cool stuff. All right. And so you're going to teach us about some of these plants today.
I actually have a photograph.
Okay, so I can't see that, so I'm going to zoom in on you here.
Okay.
And don't worry, folks, I'm masked up.
Okay, so the first one is one that everyone is familiar with. It's okra. Okra was a vegetable that was brought from Africa to America by the enslaved. Okra blossoms were used as a remedy for boils and sores. Most likely, they would dry the blossoms and then dip them in water and bind them with a piece of cloth to try and provide relief to whatever ailment that they had. Another method involved creating a poultice from the blossoms, possibly soap and sugar as well, and applying it directly on the boil.
So these are remedies using the flower, the blossom. That's interesting. Because when we think about okra, of course, today we think about
the pods.
Cooking the pods, sure. Which I know you'll get to, sorry. I'm just excited. I'm excited about plants.
Okay, so while okra is not used for that purpose today, and as Karen mentioned, we use it for the pods, okra has shown a promising health benefit as a food item. It's high in fiber, it has essential nutrients, and studies show that it can help reduce cholesterol. Also, I find it interesting that in some countries, the gum from the okra plant itself was used in the pharmaceutical industry as a binder for tablets.
Oh, so they're sticking their pills together with okra gum. Crazy.
Correct.
So something that I know about okra that I want to pop right in here is that the Bantu word okra is where this plant name comes from, or rather gumbo.
Correct.
And so if it doesn't have okra in it, it isn't technically gumbo.
That is correct.
Right? So with these southern dishes, these things that we consider to be so very typically southern, so very American, actually their roots are much deeper than that. They go clear back to Africa.
Very much.
If it doesn't have okra in it, it's not gumbo. Not really.
And we all know that's yummy.
Yes. And it's something that is sort of synonymous with soul food, and we really want to make sure that we make those connections over and over again to African culture, African American culture, specifically here in the Low Country, Gullah Geechee.
Exactly. It's so very important.
Yeah.
So
it's cool though to learn about the sort of the medicinal side of okra. I had never known about that before, so that's really cool. Thank you.
So can you get the tree, Karen?
Yeah, it's there.
Okay,
we got
awesome.
it. We got this baby.
So next we have the fig tree. Okay, so while the fruit was used extensively as a food item, an infusion of fig tree bark was used by the enslaved as a vermifuge, meaning to expel intestinal worms. The fruit was also used as a remedy for skin lesions, and the leaves, also used as an infusion, was for indigestion. Today, as we know, fig fruit is very popular as a food item, and they're used extensively as a natural laxative.
Nice.
It also is a great source of potassium, so if you're lacking in that area, you can use it that way. Now, as a side note, the sap from fig leaves can possibly cause a phototoxic reaction to the skin so when it's exposed to sunlight, so please exercise caution.
So like rash? You
Correct.
can get a rash?
Yes.
Oh. That's cool. So what I love about this fig, can you just bring it a little closer
Yes,
to
the little baby fig?
Yeah, well, so what I love about this whole plant, though, is that what you're talking about is not just the fruit. You're talking about using the bark. You're talking about using the leaves. And this is a practice that comes from a lot of different cultures around the world, but certainly Native American and African and African American cultures, is to really use the entire resource. So that's terribly cool. You know, a lot of people love the taste of fig, but I bet they never thought about, you know, infusing the bark or using the leaves. And that's great. And so I have a quick question.
Yes,
a lot of these things that we're talking about, this is knowledge that enslaved Africans, that Native Americans had and would have been using historically. Specifically for enslaved Africans, these are not necessarily items that are being grown in the ornamental gardens of Middleton Place, are they?
No, they are
not. So, do we know, I mean, I know that we have some documentation from our neighbors down the road at Drayton Hall that some enslaved people down there were allowed to have garden plots of their own that they could plant and use.
Correct.
Is that where these kinds of plants would be found?
Yes, absolutely. And this particular one, to my knowledge, the fig tree was grown on property. So
this one was?
Correct.
Oh, in the ornamental garden.
Correct.
Well, sure, because everybody loves figs. But
right.
Some of these other ones that we're talking about would probably be in the
definitely
enslaved gardens.
Would be further down the road.
Got it. That's great. Thank you.
Okay, so next we have a really, what I'm going to call a fun plant. It's called Life Everlasting. Life Everlasting is also called rabbit tobacco. It's actually,
why is that?
There is some sort of folklore that rabbits used to hide in this particular plant for safety. And there's other stories as well. But it's actually an herb in the mint family, and it has an aroma of maple syrup when the leaves are crushed. As you can see, it's a very pretty plant. It had many, I'm going to push it up. It had many uses in the enslaved community. An infusion treatment was made for colds, pneumonia, fever, and it was also used as a decongestant. For pain, a poultice was made, and for those of you who don't know what a poultice is...
Thank you, I was going to ask.
It is a soft mass of plant material that is mixed together and applied to the wound or sore or boil, and held together or wrapped with a linen cloth. Now, in some instances, they wouldn't use plant material, they would use flour, or sometimes they would use a combination of both.
This is like old school Band-Aids and Neosporin.
Correct.
Cool.
Correct.
All right.
Correct. Now, every part of this plant has been utilized as far as enslaved medicine. Also, some people say that it has an intoxicating effect if smoked, but there's no record for that type of usage during this time period. Today, its application for colds has diminished in favor of other treatments, but you can still find those who use it in folk medicine for asthma.
Oh, for asthma.
Correct.
Interesting. Okay.
Correct.
And that would be as a tea?
Yes.
As an infusion?
Yes.
That's so interesting. And what then gets infused? Is it the leaves or is it the flowers?
Yes. Actually, it would be a combination of both.
Okay. So like chamomile.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
It does remind me of that in that aspect.
Interesting. And so as we're going through these, one thing that we don't much touch on here on property, but we should in talking about these folkways, and it's just because there's so much information, but these folkways, even though these plants are largely being grown within the enslaved community, their usage isn't staying confined to the enslaved community, is it?
It's a much broader scope, especially in the holistic communities and the Appalachian communities as well.
Okay. And we can find it here. Again, we look to our friends down at Drayton Hall who have records of enslaved workers using some of their medicinal and herbal plant practices to help heal and nurse sick people, sick enslavers, sick owners. So this technology, this sort of knowledge, ancient knowledge, moves between the enslaved community and the big house. And the same is true in the other direction. Sometimes the enslavers have methods or practices that they use that they offer to the enslaved community as well. So there is an interesting interaction that happens around plants and herbs and medicine, and this sort of movement between the enslavers and the enslaved.
And it's a very interesting study. I highly encourage you, if you're interested in this topic, to study it, because there is so much information out there. And how it's all connected. It's fascinating.
That's awesome.
Okay, so the next one is sassafras. This is a sassafras tree.
We recognize that tree.
Yes, and this is sassafras root.
All right, hold on to that one because it looks like bacon to me.
It does, doesn't it? It definitely does. Okay, so normally they would use the root bark. It was combined at times with peach leaves. I would say probably because that gave it a better taste.
Better flavor.
To make an infusion, which was used for a myriad of ailments. Mainly a blood cleanser for fevers, for colic, and for malaria. Today, sassafras root, as we know, was once used in root beer.
Delicious.
Yes, absolutely. However, it was banned in 1979 due to concerns over the saffrol, which is found in the oil. So, you can still purchase the items such as sassafras tea, oils, and candy today. However, they're not going to contain that saffrol.
That's probably a good thing.
Absolutely. In folk medicine, some people still use it as a blood purifying tonic, but most uses are not health related.
Interesting. And it took till 1979 for folks to identify the fact that there was some harmful chemical in this.
There was a huge study done on it.
Really?
And absolutely.
Huh.
And the results were somewhat terrifying, so that's when they banned it.
Okay, well, better late than never, I guess. That's good.
Okay.
We got
little guy.
little buzzy friends around.
Yes. All right, so next is mullein. Mullein is a plant that's very special to me because I grow it myself. And I actually use this plant and infuse it for sore throats in my own home.
Sore throats.
It really does work, trust me. The leaves and the flowers were the parts of the plants, let me push that up there, that were used. It can grow up to 7 feet tall, so it's quite a large plant. Sometimes it's known as great mullein, and that's the reason why. Are we crooked?
Yeah, that was my fault. Anyway.
Okay, so mullein was also used as an infusion for colds and congestion. and fever. Normally, it was also boiled with salt and used in bath water as a preventative for illness.
So you said you grow this and use it. What does it taste like? Does it taste like anything?
Well, I put honey in mine, and I use local honey, so to me it doesn't have a bad taste.
Okay.
Maybe earthy is the word I want to describe, but it definitely works.
And I might have missed it. You use leaves or flowers or both?
I use the leaves, and there are times I will use the flowers, but mostly the leaves.
Cool.
An extract of the mullein leaves have also been shown to be a powerful disinfectant, much like tea tree oil. So, I thought that was really interesting as well.
Okay, wait, I have a question.
Sure.
Because I love tea tree oil, but I found out that it's poisonous. It's toxic for doggos.
It is.
What about this?
This is not.
It's not. Okay, so if you're into home cleaning solutions as well that aren't chemical based, sounds like you can maybe utilize some mullein safely as a disinfectant and not affect your furry friends.
Now, what I would recommend is, of course, different animals have different sensitivities. So I would use the weakest form that you can just to make sure that everything is okay. I definitely wouldn't go full strength.
Cool.
So, in Appalachian folk medicine, the leaves are also smoked for relief of asthma symptoms. As you can see, a lot of these plants later were used in that manner.
I think it's ironic that an ailment, or rather a treatment for asthma was to smoke something. That seems counterintuitive.
Absolutely. It's funny. Absolutely hilarious to me. Okay, so next we have a beautiful plant called Indian turnip or Jack in the pulpit.
Do these come in a variety of colors? Because this is the prettiest thing, but I feel like I've seen them in other colors than that.
Actually, this is a stage. It shows a different stage, so that may have been what you saw.
Gotcha.
Okay, this is also known as a bog onion, for those of you who may know it as that. I'm going to close with this one because I have a funny story on it. The root was also boiled and used as an infusion for kidney, liver, and ulcer issues. So I think that that's amazing that that was used back then for those types of things. It's also listed as a treatment for consumption, which we all know is tuberculosis type.
Sure.
Correct. Today, it's still used as an expectorant, a headache reliever, and a relief from flatulence. Okay, so it's very important that this root must be fully cooked and not eaten raw. My husband grew up in Tennessee, and he ate an Indian turnip when he was young, and he described it to me as eating a porcupine that lasts about 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Depending upon the amount eaten. It is considered poisonous due to the calcium oxalate content in the roots. Drying, roasting, and boiling effectively reduce that. But please exercise caution if you even think about
so if you're digging up Jack in the pulpit, you better cook it and make sure you know you did.
That's correct. Very, very important. Because apparently it will set your mouth on fire.
Wow. So I have questions. We
Yes.
talked about okra as native to Africa.
Yes.
And what of these other plants, are they all native here to North America, to the Low Country? Are these plants that Africans would have recognized on their own, or would this have required that conversation with Native Americans?
So there is some crossing between that and the Native Americans. Like I mentioned before, they did learn from them on certain plants, but they took that knowledge and expounded upon it for their own uses.
Cool. So, which others of these are sort of native to here?
Sassafras.
Sassafras is native to North America.
It's definitely sassafras.
All right.
And it's a shame because it's a shame that this actual root was considered toxic because we all know it makes the best root beer.
It so does. It really does. Now, are there, I mean, you said that there's still like oils and candies and things produced. I know that there's still product out there that's called sassafras, soda, root beer.
However, it
doesn't...
it has had the toxic element removed.
So somebody loved root beer so much that they figured out how to get rid of that toxic element so they could still make sassafras drinks. I like that. I'm here for that. Oops, I just reversed mine.
Uh-oh.
That's okay.
Hi,
I got
Karen.
it back. Yeah. So, all right. Well, one thing I forgot to say, and I'm so glad to see... Oh, look at all these comments that I didn't see before. Cool. Everybody is saying thank you. Folks, if you have any questions for Kim, I don't have to be the only one asking questions. That was something that I meant to say earlier. I'm sure that you all know by now, as frequent viewers of our Plugged Into History programming, that you are welcome to drop questions in this comment section at any time. So thanks everybody for watching. We really appreciate it. And besides a fig tree, what else can we purchase from you here, Kim? Are there any others of these that we can buy from you?
Okay, so not at this moment, but we are discussing the possibility of having these types of plants here in the nursery for next spring and possibly in the fall, depending upon growing conditions.
Okay.
So please check back with us.
So do we need feedback on that? Do we want people to let us know that they want to buy these kinds of plants?
Yes, that would be
helpful,
wonderful.
Right?
And I pretty much narrowed down a list of about 30 that were very well used during that time. And of course we can post them and get feedback that way and see if anyone is interested.
Yeah, maybe we'll try and do some Facebook polls here and get people to rank the medicinal and herbal plants that they want to see for sale here in the nursery. We would love to attend a workshop on these plants and how to use them. All right, are you up for that, Kim?
Sure, I can develop a workshop.
Okay, we can do that. We'll have to make sure that it is properly social distanced and appropriately small in attendance number, but we can certainly work that out. We'll figure out a way to do that, and maybe we can just repeat it a couple times so we can get more people in.
And keep in mind that what I did today is just a brief overview. Because we are gauging public interest as to whether we should carry these plants or not.
Yeah, great. We have a question from Pat. She wants to know if fennel is native and medicinal?
Fennel can be used as medicinal. It's my understanding that fennel is good for high blood pressure.
Oh, interesting.
Now, fennel, some varieties of that come from Italy. So I would have to research to see if there is a native fennel to the Americas, but I would most certainly be happy to do that.
Oh, that'd be cool. Susie wants to know if you are a Middleton descendant. She says your auburn hair looks like Mary Helen herrings.
Oh, well, no. I'm just an employee here at Middleton. I love my job. So maybe that's rubbed off on me.
She is a beloved non-blood family member.
Oh.
Yes, very much. Thank you. Here's another comment. Gloria would love a workshop. So yeah, Kim, maybe we can set that up.
Absolutely. I would be more than happy to do that.
Can show people how to make teas and tinctures
and infusions and poultices.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, we'll get that set up, y'all. Thanks for that feedback. We'll make sure to do that, and then maybe we can start there in terms of what will eventually sell or the things that you use.
Yes, that's a wise idea.
So that'd be great. Okay, so one more time, please plug your nursery and tell us about your plant sale and how long it goes and what's going on with that.
Okay, so we have select plants here, buy one, get one free. It will be going on through the end of July, possibly into August, depending upon stock and how much we have left. So come on down and see us here. I'll be happy to talk to you and answer any questions that you have.
Thank you so much, Kim. I'm going to take one more little view here around the beautiful nursery. And I want you all to know that I'm totally adopting the fig tree from today's presentation. I'm buying it. It's going home. Andrew, if you're still watching, we're getting a fig tree. So we have so many beautiful plants. The hydrangeas are some of the ones on sale right now. Camellias are not buy one, get one free, but we have them. Now is a great time to be planting them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're 20% off.
20% off.
Yes.
It's always a great day to come buy plants in the nursery. And one more final thing, folks. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Kim, besides the nursery, what have you been working on for the last several months?
I'm excited to say that we now have an online website.
Store.
Store, sorry. Store. I apologize. Store, where you can purchase handcrafted items from our own artisans and items from the Garden Market and museum shop. We're also looking at possibly putting the plant of the month and things like that on the website as well for curbside pickup.
Awesome. So if you all are interested in shopping with Middleton Place from afar, you can do that now. Go to www.middletonplace.org, and right at the top you will see a tab for shop. Look for shop online and you will see all the incredible tech work that Kim has done. She is not just a brilliant gardener, she is also a tech genius as well, and has put together this stunning e-commerce website for us. So make sure that you go and shop. We'll be adding items to it as we go along. And make sure that you send Kim all your wonderful feedback for how amazing it is, because it is. Thank you so much. Now, one last thing, folks, I really appreciate y'all joining us today. Every time that you engage with Plugged into History, our Let's Talk Tuesdays and our Explore More Thursdays, you are helping to, there it is, thank you, Digital Middleton Place, thanks Sabrina. Sabrina was instrumental in getting this set up too, so there is our link right there in the comments. Click on it and go shop and spend money. And if you would like to, you can, of course, help fund these programs. These digital programs we do are free, and you can find them in 3 places. You can find them right here on Facebook Live and in our feed after that. You can find them on our website and on our YouTube channel, and we want to make all of those as accessible as possible for as many people as possible. So if you love Plugged into History, I would encourage you to go to middletonplace.org/donate. And if you are able at this time or sometime in the future, we would love for you to offer a little assistance for this programming so we can keep it free and accessible. Right now, we have another $25,000 matching grant that we've earned, and we are halfway to the goal of earning that $25,000. So if you donate now, your money goes twice as far. If you can, and if you can't, please just keep coming back, because that's an important gift as well, to join with us here and give us feedback on these programs. So thank you all so much. Kim, do you have anything else that you'd like to share?
Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you. And we'll see you soon.
Yeah, we'll definitely be seeing more of Kim. It seems like everybody likes the plants, Kim, so we'll be seeing you again soon. All right, thanks everybody. Have a wonderful Tuesday. We'll see you on Thursday. We're going to kick off July with our monthly theme of independence, and I don't think it's going to be a whole month of what you think it's going to be. So come back for the history, stay for the interesting, more history. We're going to explore all the different ways you can interpret the word independence. So stick with us this week, stick with us all month, and we'll be back here in the nursery again soon. See y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.